American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears right now is Perfect Pervis, and this is American football in Finland. First time listeners, welcome to the show. I hope you guys enjoyed brutally honest football analysis and opinions, because I'm all out of bullshit. Returning followers and AFF faithful, you know what it is. TIF. We're talking Maple Bowl again today, but before we get into the ins and outs of these two teams that are getting ready to play for the greatest game in Finland, let's talk to the head coach of the Helsinki Roosters. Coach Juha, tell us what it is. I'm here with Helsinki Roosters head coach Juha Hakala. Juha, welcome to the AFF podcast, man.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
All right, we're going to get right into it. You guys are playing for the Maple Bowl this weekend against Kuopio Steelers. Going into this game, first thing I really want to know is what is different about this game than all the other ones as you played before, Maple Bowls?
Maple Bowls itself, it's a special game every year. It's you have to beat all other teams and you have to beat the semifinal team to get there. So it's not granted every year. So bowl game is a bowl game and a final is a final. So it's always a special thing to play there.
You guys, you've played the Steelers twice. You beat them convincingly both times. But this is football. Anything can happen. You can't take anybody for granted. What do the Kuopio Steelers do well that you guys really need to focus on stopping them from doing?
Well, they have a very effective offense, and they have many guys in their offense that are all capable of making big plays. So one of the most important things for us in defense is to take away their big plays from their offensive skill guys. And of course, their defense have been improving, so we have to also execute against their defense the whole day. So it's going to be probably a high-scoring game, as the first two games has been against them. But I think the key for us, to be successful in the game, is to limit the big plays from their offense.
Now, what about the Roosters? You guys have a lot of weapons on offense. Your defense is the best in the league. Your offense is also the best in the league. You're going to be putting a lot of pressure on the Steelers to keep up with you. What do you think you're going to have the most success doing against this team?
You mean offense or defense?
Either one, in general.
either one. I think the most important thing for us is just to execute on both sides of the ball, and I think we have the tools on offense to really put stress on their backfield and their secondary. And on defense, I think we can cause a lot of troubles to their O-line and their pass protection. So I think those are going to be two strong points for us in the game.
Obviously, with this being the Maple Bowl, there's a little bit more at stake in the game, but ultimately it's a football game. But you got guys like me and even the Roosters media, Kuopio Steelers media, the Maple League, people outside of Finland talking about the game. There's not any games going on in Germany this weekend. There's a lot of outside factors and distractions that can become a part of this week. How do you, as the head coach of the Roosters, make sure your team stays focused on the task at hand instead of, hanging out or doing too many interviews or doing anything outside of getting better to win this game?
I think we have a good group of core guys in our team, and if you think about our media, for example, our guys are used to being interviewed and being out there, so I don't see it as a distraction in that sense. And I think most of our guys, they are just relieved that we are finally in this point in the season when we are actually playing the final game and the bowl game, because this has been one of our main goals for this season. So we are not going to let our focus slip on this one, that's for sure.
What about you, Coach Juha? This is which number for you, Maple Bowl?
Number 6. I missed last year's fun because I was in Italy, but this is number 6 for me now.
Okay, so with you playing in your 6th Maple Bowl, I mean, obviously you're preparing for the game, you're getting ready for the game. But like I said, the media, we're going to ask you stuff that has nothing to do with the game. What does it mean to you to win this 6th one and 7th for the Roosters organization? How does it make you feel about what you've accomplished with this organization?
I think it's more for the club in that sense. Roosters is one of the best clubs with the most established history, and I think I'm very proud to be part of it, and it's a great opportunity for me to be part of this ride with the team and so on. So personally, it's I like winning, so it doesn't matter for me if it's a regular season game or semifinal game or bowl game. It always feels good to win.
All right, that's all the questions I have for you, Coach Juha. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Good luck to you this weekend, and good luck to the Roosters.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice talking to you.
Now let's talk about the game between the Roosters and the Steelers. Let's get into it. I'm here with head coach of the Wasa Royals, Seppo, and also joining today is 2017 Maple Bowl champion and former Helsinki Roosters head coach, Mark Q. Floyd. What's going on, Q?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, guys?
Today we're going to talk about the Maple Bowl and the two teams playing in it, and just want to get your guys' perspective on this game. First thing, opening thoughts. What are you thinking about these two teams playing against each other and what it looks like on the field for this game?
Well, now we're in the playoffs, man. This is the last two teams standing. Well deserved. I mean, both of them got the wins that they needed to put themselves in this situation. So now, not looking back on the season when they played each other, but this is all for the marbles now. Obviously, the Roosters are coming in as the favorites. Kuopio first year, coming to the Maple Bowl. They went past their expectations for the year. So it'll be interesting to see, how Kuopio plans for this game. It'll be interesting to see how the Roosters plan for this game. But I do think it'll be an exciting game, from both teams. They both have a lot of firepower. They both have a lot of skilled players. So I think it should be a good, entertaining Maple Bowl.
I'm pretty much on the same lines as Q. Both teams are in the final, based on their play overall and over the season. I don't think neither team got lucky at any point of the season. They were the best two teams in the league, so they're rightful in the championship game. I do think the final might be a little bit lopsided, but then again, it's just like you said. It's just one game, and anything can happen within that one game. So it's a championship game. So I wouldn't bet against either team.
Okay, speaking of the championship game, one thing I want to talk about in this game is the impact of the Steelers' imports. It's a very important issue that's happened all year. They have Justin Bell, Charles Ward, Donovan Hayden, all these guys are playing on both sides of the ball. Then you have Seth Peters at quarterback. This group of imports, it kind of is what sets the Steelers apart. It's what makes them a little bit better than other teams in the league this year. It's what got them to where they are. It's why they won a championship last year. It's why they're in the championship this year. I want to know you guys' opinion on this group and what they can do to maybe pull the upset in this championship game. Q, you can lead it off.
Well, I think for Kuopio, I think they have to find ways to get the ball to Justin Bell more. Charles Ward is going to be Charles Ward. I mean, I think he's going to make some plays, some big plays. He's a big play guy. But I think the other imports, they just definitely have to make, those plays. They have to make big plays in this game that turns into points for Kuopio. Like you say, a lot of those guys will be playing both ways. In a game like this, it just has to be that way. They have to make plays on both sides of the ball. The Roosters are a high-powered offense, good defense. Seth Peters himself has to play a solid game. He has to keep the ball, no turnovers. He has to make those plays with his feet. He has to be able to make throws to get the ball to Tino, to get the ball to Charles and those other guys. But their group as a whole, they're an exciting group. So they have to do what they've been doing, and that's scoring points and making plays.
I think definitely the Steelers, they hit on every guy that they signed for this year. So there really wasn't any guys who didn't bring anything to the table, and everybody knew they had a strong, well-working finished core there. So those two things put together with good coaching, it obviously leads to good things. As you can see, from their record. But I'm on the lines of Q for them to have a chance and for them to play a big game and to be in a game in the fourth quarter with the Roosters. All these imports were playing both ways. They need to make an impact on both sides of the ball. Now, that's, I think, where it gets a little bit tricky when both teams are going to score, but ultimately we're going to find that the answers at halftime, and then it's going to be a 2 to 3 score difference.
Let's actually talk about the Kuopio Steelers defense. I mean, it's been the weak link. It's the only thing that really separates them from the Roosters this year is that their defense is suspect. They give up 30-plus points a game and have not shown any way of slowing that down. Is there anything specific that you guys think that the Steelers can do in this game to slow down the Roosters or at least limit the amount of points they give up in this game?
I think defensively, Pekka just has to find a way to get pressure on Brandon. That's where their offense starts and that's where it ends. It's something, it's very hard. It's very hard to do. So he has to find a way to make that defense get to him, to get him rattled if it's possible. I obviously not to go back into last year, but Seppo, they had a good plan for when we played them in Wasa. They got pressure to him and the offense wasn't running the way it should have been. And that's how that's how you stop that RPO. You have to get pressure. And it starts there. So he has to find a way to match up. I mean, the Roosters have good receivers everywhere. But you have to stop that timing. You have to stop those big plays. A lot of those guys are really going to have to step up on that defense.
To be honest, I don't think they have a prayer in this game.
Well, damn, it's screw doing the pickle, then. You just said that.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, you look at the statistics, we got the six-time national champ in a row. Everything stacked for them. I just see the only way the Roosters are losing this game if defense doesn't show up and it gets hurt.
Well, in this game, there's going to be a lot of different matchups going on in the game, both personnel, position groups, then you got the coaching matchups as well. I want to ask you two guys, what is a specific matchup that you look forward to seeing in this game? Whether it's going to be a good or a bad one, I don't really care, but just the matchups in general.
For me, I'll say it has to start with the O-line and D-line. It's the offensive line for the Roosters and the defensive line for Kuopio. That's gonna play a big part. I mean, can they stop? Can they get pressure and can they stop that run? That's gonna be the deciding factor in this game is which line wins at the line of scrimmage. Like I said, the game is won in the trenches. So if Kuopio comes out and they're not getting pressure on Brandon, it's gonna be a long day. Like you said, if you look back on the season, Kuopio doesn't necessarily fare up to the Roosters when it comes to stopping their offense. So it's gonna take some plays, man. I just think like not to be blunt like Seppo said, but if you look back on the season, which I hate to do because now it's the championship game, but you have to respect it. You have to, like, the Roosters have put up over 30 points every time they played them, and the way it's looking right now, their offense hasn't slowed down. So Kuopio is just really going to have to make a miracle happen. I mean, they have nothing to lose, really.
I mean, tough to say what's going to be interesting. I mean, I think it's pretty much the same lines as Q again. I mean, if the Steelers don't find a way to pressure the quarterback, pressure Connect, it's too big of a hill to climb. It's too big of a task to ask for all those defensive backs and linebackers to cover those Roosters receivers. They're well coached. They know the pockets in the defense, and they'll find them. And Connect's going to find them if there's time to throw. So I don't see the basic front four of the Steelers creating that much pressure on the Roosters' own line, and that to me leads to that they'll have to start taking some risks and start sending some blitzes. Now, once you start doing that, that opens up even more holes in the secondary. You have more one-on-one situations coverage-wise, and then there I think there's just too much talent in the Roosters receivers that Connect's going to be able to find the open guy, and they're going to keep the chains moving all day long, really. So it's a tall task for the Steelers. Like I said before, I really wish them well. I really hope they knock off the Roosters, just because I feel like the sport in general and the Maple League, it needs a new champion and all that. But with that being said, I just see the task being really, really difficult. Roosters have a culture of winning, and the Roosters have a culture of winning championships at this point. And I'll be the first one to admit it. They have the most coaches and the most quality coaches out of the Maple League. So once you combine that with a wide roster with some depth in it, with some really good national team talent, you really don't even have to throw with the best imports on there for that team to be good. And we all know the Roosters imports are at the top end of the Maple League.
All right, now it's time for predictions. I got a couple questions for you guys. First prediction: who will be the Maple Bowl MVP?
Ooh, man.
Give me some names. You can give me multiple names if you think it's difficult.
No, it's not even difficult. I'm going to go ahead and say what everybody's thinking. It's going to be Connect. He's going to run it in. He's going to pass it in. He's going to get the yardage. That's just how it is.
What about you, Q? Same thing?
I'm going to say, I won't just say it. I'll say the Connects. I'll say it's
the brother connection, huh?
Yeah, it's the Triple C connection, man. The kind.
Well, I will say this. I'm not sure whoever's in charge of picking who the MVPs are, but it would be pretty cool if both the Connects won like co-MVP, especially with their parents being here this weekend to watch the game. Would definitely be a very cool situation. Definitely be something worth watching to say, oh, the brothers won. But I don't know how much that's going to translate to field play. Second prediction, give me a score, guys. What do you think the score of this game is going to be? And well, you can be as brutal or as nice as you want to be about it, I guess. I've heard it all so far.
If you don't mind going first, I'll say I'm thinking about 48-21.
Okay, that's I think that's respectable.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say 44-41.
40 what?
44-41.
You know you just got the Roosters defensive coordinator. You got him heated.
I know.
That's bold.
They're trying to pitch a shutout now after you said that.
They did give up 36 in one game to them, right?
I'll say just I mean, it might not be as close as the score may show, but I just feel like maybe some of the Roosters backup guys will get to play. So it sounds so bad. I mean, I want it to be a good game, because it's a championship game, and I want it to be a good game. But I just know that the Roosters offense, man, it's just hard to stop right now, and I just want to just throw a curveball in there, man, and maybe Seth Peters comes out and has one of the best games of his life, and their offense is just hitting. I mean, it's a championship game, man. Anything can happen. You got Tino. I don't think they had Tino the first time they played the Roosters. If you can hit him and Charles Wood a few times, man, you just never know. So, like I said, 44-41 for me.
Or the Roosters can do like the Mime said, sit Brandon. Just do it.
Yeah, it might get an interesting game then, but
just see what happens. Okay, guys. Now we're going to do the final words portion of the show. This is my favorite part. It's when I like to give my guests the opportunity to use this platform to push whatever agenda you want, sell some tickets. You got a rap CD coming out, got a mixtape. Tell people where to go, where to find it. This is where you can shoot your shot. Q, I'm going to let you go first, man. Shoot your shot.
So I started off like this. First of all, congratulations to the Roosters for the 7th time going to the Maple Bowl. Congratulations to Coach Peck and the Kuopio Steelers for also getting there. You know, they're now in back-to-back championships. So I wish them good luck, and I want to give a shout out to Seppo. And the reason that I'm giving a shout out to Seppo is because at the beginning of the season, Seppo, I thought the Royals had no chance of doing what they did. I'm gonna just be honest. I thought you guys had no chance of doing what you did. You proved everybody wrong. You know, you
Had
guys
me on there
fought.
too, man. I was wrong too.
Those,
I was gonna say that.
y'all put it together. Nobody expected you guys to be in the playoffs, at least not away from Vasa anyway. I'll say that. So I wanted to say congratulations to you and everything that you did to get those guys, you know, to that point. You know, I mean, because y'all game could have went a totally different way too. So you could have easily been in the championship game too. You had the chance. You know, it didn't happen, but I just wanted to say congratulations to what you're doing with that organization too. So.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that. I mean, I understand wherever all the criticism comes from and all the disbelief that, you know, that went down in the beginning of the season. I mean, we obviously made some bad mistakes in some of our hires. We didn't have the best of luck with some guys getting injured and some deals not working out. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm going out on a limb saying this, but I do know something about football. I feel like I proved it a few times now in Finland, and the way I see it, it's always going to be when Seppo's and Wasa don't count Wasa out.
Okay.
That's
okay.
You know, even myself. And now, to be honest, we had a team that was really, really divided in terms of being very well too green and very well too old at certain spots of the roster, and we still pulled it together. So we're, you know, within a shots distance of being in the final. Now, do I think we could have had a shot at winning the final if we made it there? I don't know. I felt like, in all honesty, if we got it together, I really felt like we could have matched up a little bit better against the Roosters per se than the Steelers will do right now. Now, that's again going on a limb, and people think that's crazy talk, but I'm okay with that. I'm really just doing me over here, and that's been working so far really nicely. So
Yeah.
what other people think. So I guess that's my shout out really, or that's my last word on that. So to everybody listening in Finland who think they know, who think they know me, who think they know Vasa football, you guys don't know.
That's perfect. That's exactly how we end the show. If y'all think you know, you don't know. Seppo said it here on the AFF podcast. Don't y'all forget it, man. And with that, I mean, that's the end of the show. Appreciate you guys coming on. People, if you're listening, watch or go to the Maple Bowl game. Whether you like either of the teams in it or not, it's an event in Finland involving football. Support the sport and participate. Watch the game, go to the game, buy a t-shirt, buy some food or something. Help the sport grow, guys. That's my shot. So everybody, don't forget to tune in, come to the game, and don't forget TIF.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
The show was a little bit short today, so I decided I'm just going to add another interview on here, talking to the offensive coordinator from the Helsinki Roosters, Mikko Koikkalainen. Here, check it out. I'm here with Helsinki Roosters offensive coordinator, Mikko Koikkalainen. Welcome to the AFF podcast, Mikko.
Thanks for having me.
Just going to get right into it. Maple Bowl is coming up this weekend. What are you guys going to do? I know it's a real basic question, but I know you guys are still watching film and you're formulating the game plan. But in general, what type of things are you guys going to be trying to accomplish against the Steelers in this one?
Try to find the best matchup for us. We have 4 really good receivers, good running backs that we can rotate and get different kind of plays for them, and just see how they match up with us and then go what's more advantage to our team.
Looking at the Steelers defense, I mean, they've given up a lot of yards and points this season. Is there anything specific about their defense that you really are expecting them to change or make better in this matchup?
It's hard to expect something that you haven't seen. So of course, if they totally change how they play on defense, then we're just gonna have to react on Saturday. But looking at what they did against Royals and the last games in the regular season, it's pretty much the same that it has been since they changed the defensive coordinator. So we are going with that in our mind.
Okay, on the offensive side, you've got 4 legit wide receivers. You got 2, almost 3 running backs to use, and then you have Brandon Cornett of all people at quarterback. So you got a lot of weapons. What is the key to making sure everyone is involved, or do you guys just kind of, if one person is the guy that game, you're just going to keep it going with him? What's your thought process pretty much going into every week as well as this championship game?
We are very lucky that we don't have any divas. So nobody gets mad if they don't get the ball, if somebody else is making the plays. So if we have a matchup that we can win most of the time, then we just go there until defense does something to take that away, and then we go somewhere else. But if we have some receiver who is looking like he's beating his guy, I'm not afraid to go him for like 10 times in a row.
I'm going to go back into the players again because you guys have so many players. So I've got to ask you, how do you deal with it? You being the mastermind puppeteer, the offensive coordinator. You got 2 running backs who are both dynamic with Young Kari and Henry Usala. How do you decide when to mix those 2 up, or who gets the screen pass and who gets the runs? How do you decipher that throughout the season? Not even just this next game, but just how do you decide when they each get touches?
It's not that complicated. They are. I take Alexander also in the mix. So we have 3, and they do stuff basically at the same level. They all have some plays that they are better than the other, but I don't really go to okay, now it's 3rd and 7. I need this guy in to have this play. So whoever is in with the rotation that we have set up for the game will be there. So it's not like you can just pick up what we're gonna do based on which running back we have on the field. It's just whoever's in, that guy is asked to make the play, and most of the time they make the plays.
All right, they are both that good, so it makes perfect sense. So Roosters are trying to go for the 7-up in the Maple Bowl this year. I don't know for sure, so I'm going to ask you: is this your 7th year? Have you been with them the whole time or not?
No, I've been with them since 2014.
So this is your 5th, pretty much, going for a 5th. What do you think it means to the Roosters team to break that record of 6 consecutive? What do you think it means to the organization winning this Maple Bowl this year?
I think for the organization it will be a very big thing, but for the team, I honestly haven't even heard anybody mentioning about we would make a record for winning the 7th straight championship. We are not even thinking about making it 2 in a row. We want to win this next game. It's all that matters to us. Otherwise the whole season has been basically for nothing. I don't think about legacies or what the organizational record would be. I just want to win this game and score as many points as we can.
Well, that's a perfect answer, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Quick interview. Good luck in the Maple Bowl this weekend, Mikko Koikkalainen, and good luck to the Roosters.
Thank you.
If you like the AFF podcast, be sure to check out my website, perfectpervis.com, for more football. I have new articles published daily about football in Suomi, interview articles on import players from around the globe, and I dabble in the interest topics about different aspects of American football on the international level. If you want more football, go to perfectpervis.com and follow me as I observe football around the world.